Oh, yeah. Episode 260. What's up, War Room family? It's Mistress Carrie, and welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, episode 260. I am sorry that we missed last week. I was not feeling well, the snowstorm, everything that was going on, but we are back. We are in the War Room, so welcome. To anybody that's new, that's joining us for the first time here in the War Room, I am Mistress Carrie. This is the War Room in my house where all of my military memorabilia is from my trips overseas, my family's military memorabilia. It's also where the wood stove is this time of year and where the bar is. So starting back on March 14th of 2020, we started getting together here in the War Room every night at 8:30 to talk about, well, the start of the pandemic, actually. We did 80 nights in a row. And then we announced the Mistress Carrie podcast was coming, and Cocktails in the War Room, after 80 shows in a row, became the weekly show that you see now every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern. So if you're new to the War Room family, as they have dubbed themselves, would like to welcome you properly. So you got to let us know it's your first show, and you got to let us know where you're watching from so that we can welcome you officially. What's up, Kevin and Denise, Melissa and Mark, Michael and Christine joining us, Jonathan and Jessica. Carrie is here. Trina, hello. I missed the smell of a wood stove, she said. Yes, it's so good. Travis, double horns time. Absolutely. Betty is here. And Dylan, I can't believe it's episode 260, which is kind of crazy. It's a little bit easier to predict when we're going to hit milestone episodes with the podcast because I record those episodes ahead of time a lot. And so I know when episode 200 is coming because this week is episode 189. When it comes to the War Room, because we have to take some nights off every now and again, whether it's because I'm out at a concert, have family obligations, not feeling well, the War Room is a little bit harder to predict. But eventually, the podcast is probably going to eclipse the War Room. But right now, this week, we're at episode 189 of the podcast and episode 260 of Cocktails in the War Room. Mark is here. Fred joining us. Hello, Carol. Mr. Cole and Donna are here. So first of all, sorry about last week. If you are not in the Northeast, you may not be aware of how crazy the weather has been. If you're on the Eastern Seaboard, you have either gotten rain, wind, snow, sleet, locusts, dogs and cats living together, tornadoes. Like, we're getting it all. If you're not anywhere where it snows, we're getting our first major cold snap of the year. And last week, we actually got our first big storm of the year. And they said we were going to get between 8 and 12 inches of snow. I ended up with about 17. You know you are getting too much snow when all of the news crews are in your town center interviewing your mayor. And when that happens, you're like, okay, yeah, it's the story of the week. And so when I saw the mayor of Leominster on the news at 11 o'clock that night, I was like, yeah, okay. Have you guys seen the storm damage? Salisbury Beach, Hampton Beach, South Portland, Maine. Footage today, they've been using drones, and it's been amazing to see. And I grew up going to Hampton Beach and Salisbury Beach. And then obviously in the earlier days of my career, my second home was either the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom, which I still am at a lot, or Tens in Salisbury. And there was drone footage today of Salisbury Beach, and the water was streaming past the parking lot of Tens and just going down the street. Like, where we get beach pizza at Salisbury was just water, just insane. So much destruction, just so much water. The cleanup at Hampton, the storm surge is just nuts. Auntie Ange is here. What's up, Jake? Let's see. Kim says 260, congrats. And episode 189 of the podcast. It's just crazy. Yes, I got 17 to Keith's worth, Mark says. It's rare that you get more inches than what they say. Yeah, 100%. And we did 17 inches of snow. We got half of it like in the overnight and in the morning. And then there was like a lull and everybody was like, oh yeah, everything's fine. And then we got whacked with like another 10 inches or so. It was crazy. Betty says, Nashville, the sidewalks were clear and the road wasn't. And Memphis was unreal. Yeah, it's snowing all over the place. All of my friends down in the Nashville area were all like taking pictures of the snow outside because it's not often then they get snow down there. So we're a little bit more used to it up here, although this week it's really going to start getting cold. They're saying by the weekend we're going to get single digit temperatures at night. Obviously, we've seen the 30 below zero at Arrowhead Stadium, the 10 below zero in the crazy snowstorms that they got in Buffalo that delayed a football game. That's how bad it was. Damn, I saw the house floating in Maine on the news. Yeah, those are the fishing shacks in South Portland. It's just those have been there 150 years and are the scene of like a lot of scenic photographs. And so there's a lot of people that are really bummed out that those fishing shacks literally just got washed away, which is just crazy. Let's see. Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom, my favorite place to see a concert, says Tim. It is a great place to see a show. Absolutely. Especially in the summertime. And you can go out late night and like get Blink's fried dough or like pizza or something and just go bar hopping down the strip at Hampton. We should feel blessed. We received a little over 6 inches, says Betty. Yeah, we got like another 5 inches today or so, just under 6 inches. So, Christie's Pizza, Tripoli Pizza, there's water in their front yard. The buildings seem fine. And I'm sure that if they have basements, they're used to this kind of stuff, but they definitely got a lot of water up along the coast. Longtime mistress, says Casey, plowed for the town, and it was a pain in the ass storm in Norwood. I bet it was. Deer Island and Stonington, Maine got hit so hard. No power, roads out everywhere. The causeway was underwater twice. Yeah, the coast has been getting whacked, and they're anticipating some pretty severe cold snaps and possible power outages happening in Texas. I was reading a story in People magazine of all places today about a father that was driving his daughter to the airport in Houston and the road closed because of ice. And the daughter obviously missed her flight to Denver, but she got trapped in a car with her dad for 6 hours because the road was iced over in Houston. And so I'm just going to take this opportunity before we get any further along with the show. And I tell you about the big podcast episode this week, which I'm super excited about. If you have not properly fixed your car for emergencies at this time of year, and I'm not just talking about people in the Northeast, I'm talking about people that could get unexpected cold weather down south, whether it's on the eastern seaboard, whether it's in the Midwest, whether it's down in Houston. That father and daughter story was a perfect example. They got stuck in the car for 4 hours without moving at all, 6 hours total it took them to get to the airport. And so if you have not put all of the extra stuff in your car to kind of prepare for the cold, obviously the first thing, don't let your car get anywhere near low on gas this time of year because you could get stuck on the highway, and if you don't have gas, you're not going to be able to keep the heat on. But also the windshield washer fluid that doesn't freeze. I think it's the orange one that you can put in there, making sure that your snow brush is in the car, that there's a shovel in the trunk, that you have got waterproof gloves, proper, like an old pair of boots in the trunk in case you're driving to work with dress shoes on. Make sure that you've got an old coat, scarf, hat, gloves, all of that kind of stuff. Some plastic bags are always, just like the shopping bags are good to keep, because then you can put your feet in those and then put it in the old boots to keep them dry. It's also just a good idea just so that you can keep anything dry, and you may have to create a toilet. So having some plastic bags and a roll of toilet paper. Wet wipes aren't going to do you any good because they're going to freeze, but a roll of toilet paper, plastic bags, and some bottled water and some MREs, because the MREs are freeze dried. And if you've got water, even if it's frozen, you can thaw it out with the defroster and have food with you. So just some suggestions on some things. And also, you're going to get the low tire alerts on your car because it got so cold. Be careful about putting air in your tires when it's really, really cold outside, because as the temperatures heat up, your tires are going to be overinflated. So just be careful with that too. Melissa says Rain-X, keep water in the car as well. Even if it freezes, Trina, 100%. Because if you've got gas in the car, you can put the frozen water on the defroster on the windshield and defrost it to have it. Pack snacks in the car too, but stuff that is going to be okay to be cold. So you obviously need to be careful of that. And if you are someone that takes maintenance medication, it's a good idea to kind of always make sure, especially if you're going to be driving far, to make sure that you've got extra insulin with you, that you've got those sugar tabs with you. And if anybody that you're going to be driving on a regular basis, if you're in a carpool, if you normally drive an elderly relative somewhere every week, just any kind of routine that you have, just take 5 minutes to have a little bit extra for that. And that includes, if you've got little kids in the car, to just make sure that you've got extra stuff in the car for them in case you get trapped. So extra blankets, gloves, hats, mittens, just all of the old stuff. Put it in a bag, throw it in the trunk. Don't worry about it. Just keep it in there for the winter. Bish says, always have a Home Depot bucket ready. You will thank me later. Cars idle for a long time on a full tank. And it's one of those things where you can let it idle for a while and then turn it off and then turn it back on and then turn it off. And also make sure that you have car chargers for your phone in there as well. If you're one of those people that is, especially the Apple chargers, because you know how those connectors fray after a while. If you don't have a car charger that is specifically something that stays in the car, you got to make sure you got that, because they had 47 people die in the blizzard in Buffalo last year, which is why there were a lot of football purists that were upset that the Bills game got postponed. But people have really short memories, and 47 people died in those crazy snowstorms in Buffalo last winter. And some of it was because of exposure, because they got trapped out on the road. So this happens. Turning the car on and off is tough on the battery. Make sure the battery in your car is good so that you can cycle the engine on and off like that, says Mr. Voorhees. Exactly. Don't eat the yellow snow, says Mr. Cole. Make sure you do not own an electric vehicle, says Eric. Yeah. It took me 5 hours last weekend to drive home from the Rubicon show in Portland. And there were a lot of vehicles that were spun out on the highway because I drove head on into the snowstorm in the middle of the night. And the roads were so bad. Normally, I'm the kind of person that pulls over to see if people are okay. And I couldn't stop because the roads were so bad. And I was afraid that if I tried to stop, that I was going to get hit. So just really make sure that you just give your car the once over, because now is a really dangerous time of year. And like I said, it's not just the Northeast. Freak cold snaps are happening down in Texas, even, down around the Nashville and Memphis area, getting freak snowstorms down there. Storm surges down along the coast in Florida, knocking out power for an extended period of time. It's a good idea to just kind of go over those preparations just in case, especially if you're somebody that's on maintenance medication, making sure that you refill with like the 90-day supply right now, just in case. You never want to get caught where we get a freak snowstorm and you're not able to get the maintenance medication that you need. And also, when you're going to buy the ingredients for French toast, when we get snowstorms, make sure that you're all stocked up on dog food and all of your pet medications too. So, Melissa says, I told you to stay over. I was going to stay over in Portland, but I had to be on the air the next morning. And I watched the weather the whole time. I left. It wasn't even snowing in Portland when I got in the car. And then I smacked head on into the storm on my way home. And the 4-wheel drive was fine, but I got trapped behind rows of plows going 10 miles an hour for like 30 miles straight. And also there were points where the visibility was really bad. But I took my time. I was totally safe. I would have gotten off the highway if I felt like I wasn't safe. So Dina says the bread bag for your boots. When I was a kid, you guys remember when you bought the square like gallon of ice cream and the supermarket put it in a little plastic bag that was just for like frozen things and ice cream? That was what my mom put our feet in before we put it in our moon boots back when we were kids. So just some reminders about some storm prep stuff, because you're just always better off. You know, the nuisance. My husband rolls his eyes all the time when he sees all of the stuff that I keep in my car just in case. I got this really cool foldable snow shovel. Doesn't take up a lot of room in the car. Everything in my car is in those sealable Rubbermaid tubs, so that if I need to take everything out of my car to get to my spare tire, if it's pouring outside, all of my safety equipment isn't going to get soaked because it's in stackable Rubbermaid tubs in the back of my truck. Just little stuff like that. Donna says, we had the Wonder Bread bags. I grew up in my grandparents' bakery, so there was no Wonder Bread in my house. That was not allowed. Let's see. Kevin says, I remember those days for sure. So just a little storm prep, just some ideas, make sure you got a snow shovel and clean off the roof of your car, please. Don't be that person. Clean off the roof of your car. Michael Voorhees says, do you have space for actual cargo in your car with your car full of contingencies? Yes. Everything is packed up neatly in Ziploc freezer bags, road flares, emergency equipment, all of that stuff. But it's all small stuff. And I keep MREs in the car, which are small and sealed in plastic and watertight. And I Ranger roll everything. And yeah, it's one of those things where once you pack like one of those Rubbermaid tubs, like you just don't have to worry about it again. Every once in a while, go through it. Like obviously in the summertime, I make sure I have extra water and kind of more rain gear than snow gear. But yeah, I go through it a few times a year, throw it in the back of my SUV, not a big deal. Lots and lots of snack packs, says Ryan. My grandfather worked for Wonder Bread in Framingham, says Donna. No death pillows. Go on Amazon and buy a bunch of silver emergency blankets. They store really small. Exactly. This is the kind of stuff that if you just do simple searches for like cold weather survival or emergency, winter emergency vehicle, you can always just get like a little checklist of stuff that you're going to need, and just super easy. And you're always cleaning out closets. And you've always got like, gloves that you can't find the match of. And if you've got one glove that looks like this and one glove that looks like that, I put them together and throw them in the car and just keep them. In your spare time, you should start a side business of preparing emergency kits and selling them. Don't even joke, Jonathan. My husband and I joke all the time about what his life is going to be when he retires from the Marine Corps. And that is totally something that he and I could do together. Because he would be the minimalist Marine, only take what you can carry kind of a packer. And I would be the one thinking like, well, if I got stuck, I would want to have this with me and, extra cords and this and that. And he just rolls his eyes. But between the two of us, we could put together one hell of a survival pack for people to keep in their car. Actually, that would be really funny. In your spare time, yeah, she doesn't have much of that. Not right now, I don't. Maybe when my husband retires and he's able to help me out with some of the stuff going on here around the house and some of the stuff with the business. Yeah, maybe. I do want to let you guys know that I got a text message from my cousin whose family is still staying in my house, that she texted me a picture of Wednesday and Charlie. And she was like, I don't think Wednesday is making the show tonight. And this is why. Let me show you guys the picture. She sent me that picture a little while ago of Wednesday and Charlie. Wednesday in her winter sweater, snuggled up on the couch right now with the baby. So don't be surprised if you guys don't see Wednesday tonight. You can sell War Room flares for your car. You need to learn to throw some shit out, says Keith. Keith, I do not like waste. And so when I get a new pair of boots, I take the old boots and put them in my car. And I take the old boots that were in my car that are probably really trashed, and I either wear them when I'm doing yard work until they get holes in them, or I do something else with them. When I get a new pair of sneakers, the good sneakers that I had, those become like my yard work sneakers. The yard work sneakers get tossed out. I am a psychopath with waste. I don't know where this came from. I think my grandfather that survived the Depression put a lot of that into us, not to be wasteful. So you can ask anybody, my family, my husband, anybody. Food waste drives me crazy. I get so upset when stuff gets put in the fridge and goes bad before it gets eaten. And I am not a wasteful person. I'm not somebody that gets rid of something just because I feel like getting a new one. I drive my cars till they fall apart because, especially in New England, they just get beat up so bad with the potholes and the rock salt that it just doesn't make sense to me to be one of those people that gets a new car every 2 years. I do not like waste. And I'm not judging how anybody else lives their life, but I just am one of those people that just always tries to find a way to utilize what I have. And just to make sure that I'm not wasteful, that I work hard for the money that I have. I have no problem spending money on a fantastic vacation, on a wonderful meal, on a bottle of really good booze. I would like to think I'm a good gift giver, so I like to be generous with my gift giving. But I just don't see being wasteful as something that's just a thing. So, how do you manage to buy new shoes when you have two different size feet? Jason, I have to buy 2 pairs. And I have found a place. They're called the National Odd Shoe Exchange. And they actually accept mismatched shoes that they reuse for people that have 2 different size feet, that they outfit people with birth defects and amputees with shoes. And so whenever I have to buy 2 pairs of shoes, I take the ones that I can wear and I put the other ones aside. And when I get a cardboard box filled with shoes, I tape it up and I mail it to the National Odd Shoe Exchange so that they don't get wasted. There are places like Zappos and Nordstrom that do not make you buy 2 pairs. That if you have 2 different size feet, more than 2 sizes different, they'll actually let you buy the shoes that you need and not the other ones that you're just going to throw out anyway. So I try to seek out places that don't force me to buy the 2 pairs in the first place. But I just don't like to waste things. I just think it's, when you see documentaries about the garbage patch in the ocean, or you see giant landfills in places like India and China, It breaks my heart when you look at places in South America, in Africa, where you think all of these donated clothes that you get rid of go. They're just buried in old American t-shirts and stuff. And so I just feel like if you've got stuff that you can use and kind of upcycle in a different way, turn t-shirts into quilts or blankets. And, there are places where you can donate old denim because they turn it into insulation for homes. And so, a lot of people poke fun at people that are trying to be more green. I was just talking about in the sit rep last night about the guys in Coldplay that are trying to make their tours carbon neutral. They've already cut the carbon of their tour in half, and they've done it by using recycled restaurant waste oil. And they actually agreed to let BMW use their music in their commercials. And rather than payment, Coldplay gets recycled BMW batteries, which they use as power packs, and they charge these massive battery packs, and it's those battery packs that power their live shows. They even have, I had never heard of this before, but I was reading about it just yesterday, that they have kinetic pads that go over the general admission floor of their concerts, and the people jumping up and down generates energy that goes into those recycled BMW batteries. So the crowd is powering the show. These things are out there. And so when you think about the things, the small things you can do, right? The grocery bags from the supermarket, how can you use those one or two more times before they end up getting thrown out? Denim is unbelievably good for insulation. And there are places where you can just pack up boxes of old, stained, torn jeans, and they will turn it into home insulation, that kind of stuff. There's really cool ways for you to declutter and have things not end up in a landfill. Because when I throw stuff away, I just think about that's just going in the ground. And would I want to take that and bury it in my yard? Am I willing to dig a hole and bury that bag in my yard? Because that's where it's going. And so if you can, keep as much stuff out of the landfills as you can, why not do it? So, there are some really cool things out there. So, this time of year, things slow down a little bit. You get snowed in and you're, hitting the ends of the internet. Do some creative Googling on stuff that you need to get rid of and find a way, like recycling t-shirts. Don't just donate them in those boxes in the parking lot of the mall, because they end up in a third world country somewhere and then they just end up in their landfills. But what can you do with those t-shirts that actually end up doing something else? I'm telling you, the denim insulation thing, super cool. I always try to use the same women before getting rid of them. Keith says, oh, how predictable, says Jonathan. A lady that I camp with makes rugs out of plastic bags. There are so many cool things that you can do with this stuff. There's tons of, I am shocked at how many of these ideas you can find on TikTok. They're just out there. So, but yes, I do not like to waste things. So if you've got old stuff, rather than get rid of it, use it as emergency equipment in your car. Or make an emergency, if you've got teenagers that have their own cars, take that old stuff and make an emergency pack for the teenagers' cars. My sister lives in the city, and when my mom got sick, I took her to get her first car. She was in her 40s when she had her first car because she rides a bike and takes public transportation in the city, so she didn't need a car. And when I took her to get her first car, I gave her an emergency pack that you guys are talking about in the Rubbermaid tub with jumper cables and, just all of the stuff. And I was like, you're going to thank me later. There's an air pump in there that plugs into the cigarette lighter or the power point in your car. I got her the WeatherTech floor liners. I got her the cup holder for her phone from WeatherTech, which is really cool for Christmas. And then I packed her up. I gave her MREs. I just got her all of this, road flares. I just went down that aisle at like Target and Walmart and just look at some of the stuff that they have. Got her some of those, Mylar blankets and stuff, put it all together for her. It makes a great gift. So if you've got somebody you got to buy a birthday present for, an anniversary gift or whatever, go get one of those tubs at Walmart, Target, whatever. Tractor Supply, you can get some of this stuff and pack it up and give it to somebody. It's a really, really thoughtful gift. My sister loved it. Let's see. The schools take all textiles, including linens, pillows, shoes, and boots, and they get money for it. There you go. Let's see. Don't recycle your underwear. I have an emergency kit and a pump, and that seems to not be enough. Well, there's other stuff that you can stick in there. What's up, Thomas? Check out Facebook groups in your area for giving stuff away. Another great thing is that just give it away rather than tossing it. Somebody might need it. I mean, everything from like wood pallets and, I try to, rather than just recycling cardboard, I try to burn some of it in my wood stove because it's free heat. Just get creative. All right. So let's talk about some stuff because we got a lot to talk about. And obviously right now there is no pug. So if you were not aware, you can hear me every weekday afternoon on 100 FM The Pike. In Worcester, you can listen at pikefm.com, download the Pike app. Couple things that you need to know about. Once a month, I am going to be at Feel Good Fridays at Waterfront Mary's in Webster. It's going to be one Friday a month, including this Friday, January 19th. It's going to be an after work Feel Good Friday thing. So we're going to have music, prizes, giveaways. They always have a food special. I think they're doing like $15 fish and chips this Friday. And, we usually have concert tickets to give away, and I'm there from 5:30 to 7:30. So this is coming up this Friday if you want to come and hang out with me from 5:30 to 7:30. Details on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And of course, tickets are on sale now for Big Gig 3 coming up April 27th at the DCU Center in Worcester with Stained, Seether, Asking Alexandria, and Tim Montana. And Zach Malloy from the Nixons a couple of weeks ago on the podcast confirmed, even though I don't think he was supposed to, that Seether are in fact in the recording studio in Nashville working on a new album right now. If you were not aware, you can also listen to me on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. Every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7. You can go to 1063rocks.com or 1063thebone.com and you can stream the station that way off the website or download the Bone app. And you'll also get all the episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast there as well. So just a couple things to put on your calendar. Let's see. We haven't even talked about the podcast yet. Yeah, exactly. We're getting there. Shredded socks and underwear go into the rag bag in the garage. Old t-shirts, rag bag into the garage. Exactly. Talk to your mechanic. You got old t-shirts. Ask him if he needs rags and give him your old t-shirts. People that, painters, people that just need rags. Usually they go and buy bags of rags. Just rip up your old t-shirts and reuse them for something. Larry says you need to be on 99.1 The Bone in New Hampshire. Same company. I have made mention to see if it's something that we could do. I would love to do it. Send a message to the station and tell them that you want me on that station too. Did Mike Shue call in sick today? Hope he's okay. I don't know. I didn't see him this morning, but I'm pretty sure he had yesterday off for the holiday. He may have taken today off too. I'm not sure. So let's see. Jessica wants to know how my mom is doing. A lot of the same. So she's not any worse. She's obviously not better. So a lot of the same. But thank you guys. I appreciate you guys asking how mom is because, it's still tough, but she's doing okay. She's still with us and she's happy and healthy. So that's all we can ask for. All right, every week we go through some of the cocktail books that I have here in the War Room, try to put to use some of the booze that you may have left over from the holidays. Leftover. Maybe you got bottles of booze as gifts or from a Yankee swap or something. I was looking for something that was a little bit more warm weathery because it's so cold outside right now. Just something to kind of take your mind off of just how freaking cold it is. Then I saw this, and it was the weirdest combination of liquors that I think we have encountered here in the War Room, and I have not tried this drink yet. So I'm just warning you, this could be really bad or it could be delicious, and I don't know. It's called a Legend. This drink is equal parts Midori, Kahlua, and Frangelico, which is almond liqueur, if I am not mistaken, right? So melon, Kahlua, and Frangelico. Midori, Kahlua, Frangelico. It says pour the ingredients into an old-fashioned glass, stir and serve. That's it. No frills, no garnish, no rim, no twist of anything, no sugar, no bitters, no nothing. Equal parts Midori, Kahlua, Frangelico. I don't know if that's good, but to me, it also sounds like something that could be delicious. And then you have to wonder about the bartender that made it up. Like, where the hell did they get that from? It's weird. Frangelico is hazelnut. Thank you, Carol. So hazelnut, Kahlua is coffee liqueur, correct? So melon, hazelnut, and coffee? Larry says gross. I don't know. No, Frangelico is not black licorice. That's, what do they call that stuff? Somebody remind me about what the black licorice liqueur is. Not Jägermeister, not Goldschlager. What's the other one? Oh my God. You can mix anything. Can you mix anything with Aftershock? I don't know. Trina says ick. Yeah, I know. It sounds weird. I'm not sure of those flavors together, says Tracy. Exactly. That's why it's called a Legend. I don't know why. Zambuca. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, Zambuca. That's the black licorice liquor. Frangelico is hazelnut. That's all it says. That's your Legend. That's the cocktail of the week. If you guys try it, if you've got those ingredients in the house, let me know. All right, since we didn't do the show last week, we got to recap a couple of episodes. So I was just talking about Zach Malloy from the Nixons, who is also part of the Four Horsemen. They are down in Nashville. They are songwriters, they are producers, they are engineers that are working with some of the biggest newer rock bands out there and some of the established ones too. Zach Malloy even recording or writing some songs with Shinedown and Lilith Czar and Plush, just so many bands. And of course, I'm a huge fan of the Nixons anyway. So I loved getting reacquainted with Zach. I've known him a really, really long time. We got reacquainted actually by the guys in Rubicon, which is totally nuts because the guys from Rubicon were wearing a Mistress Carrie shirt. And Zach was like, where'd you guys get that? And they were like, you know Mistress Carrie? And he was like, you know Mistress Carrie? And then it just went downhill from there. So I loved having Zach on. Super excited that he agreed to come on the show. And, you know, he's had #1 songs with everybody from Shinedown to Carrie Underwood and everybody in between. And so if you haven't listened to episode 187 yet, definitely go back and listen to that one. And then I told you guys last year, after I saw Corey Taylor last summer at the House of Blues in Boston, and after I went to Vegas in the fall, this was one of the bands that I left talking about, and everybody else that I talked to that went to those shows left talking about. If you are a fan of Rage Against the Machine, if you are a fan of Run DMC, if you're a fan of Linkin Park, of Papa Roach, this band is for you. They're out of Queens. They are two brothers, D and K.I. Maddie, the drummer we talk about in the episode, and Jaffe, the guitar player, is right here. They are a drummer, a guitar player, and two singers. And they are unbelievable. They are this amazing blend of hip hop and rock. The riffs are super heavy. The shows are unreal. They are fantastic live. And they could not be nicer guys. They are so sweet and so charismatic and so fun. We got drunk on the roof deck of the hotel, sitting poolside in 90-degree weather, drinking pitchers of Mai Tais and just ridiculous amounts of cocktails. And they're just awesome. They are so much fun. So if you are looking for a new band, keep your eyes on these guys. I told you guys when I launched the podcast that I wanted to be able to turn you guys into new music, to be able to show you guys what new rock music is on the horizon. And this is one of those bands. I've told you guys about bands, everybody from Dirty Honey and the Struts to Plush and Des Rocks. I mean, there's just been so many new bands that we've been able to get on the show. Guys, I'm telling you, these guys are going to be huge. Good on Corey Taylor because he knew about him before I did. And he's just got an impeccable eye for talent as well. Keep an eye on these guys. But having Dave Bellevue from Oxymorons on the show, I talked to him while he was drinking his coffee. He's a lawyer, went to law school, did the whole thing, and then started the band with his brother. Their story is fascinating. They're super cool, really, really smart. He also does a lot with mental health volunteership. There's just a lot. I cannot tell you guys enough how much I love these guys, both as a band, as performers, and as people. They are just badass, and 2024 is going to be a huge, huge year. Their new single just cracked the top 20 on rock radio nationally. You guys are going to love these guys. I've missed you, Carrie. Haven't been in a long time. What's up, Thomas? Thanks for coming back. Hello, Steven. Carol says, welcome back. Papa Roach just came out with a new song and it's incredible. I'm telling you, there's Oxymorons was great to listen to and I love their music, says Melissa. And by the way, 2 R's because they're free. He tells the whole story about why they needed to put 2 R's in it. And so now I joke with him and say, yeah, Carrie has 2 R's because they're free as well. Can't believe that he went to law school and took the bar. He went to law school, took the bar, passed the bar, I believe, on the first try, and was working as a lawyer, and then was like, but I want to be in a band. Just crazy. Jelly Roll, another artist I told you guys about early on. Yeah, Jelly Roll has been busy in DC. And today he just got announced that he is going to be with the Red Hot Chili Peppers in Milwaukee for Harley Davidson's big annual celebration in Milwaukee. So yeah, Jelly Roll is everywhere. Thomas says, where's our favorite pug? Is she okay? Thomas, you missed it. She is sleeping right now with my cousin's baby and her dog in the other room and just does not want to get up right now. That's why she's not here. So I'm so glad that you guys are willing to give these new bands a try, not only listening to them on the podcast, but then going and listening to the episode's corresponding playlist and checking out some of their music. Yeah, the Oxymorons, great band name. Absolutely. And I think you guys are going to love these guys. They're awesome. Okay. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you already know about the podcast this week. If you do not have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I have hinted in previous weeks about what this week's podcast episode is. And I am so excited for this week's episode. Talk about a trip down memory lane. The new episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that goes live tonight at midnight, episode 189, features Brent Smith from Shinedown, who is making his third appearance on the show. This episode is dedicated to their cover of Simple Man. Why, you may ask? Because this Saturday, January 20th, believe it or not, is the 20th anniversary of the time they played it on my show for the first time. That started it all, that changed everything. And when I started looking into what episodes I wanted to do in the new year and started looking through my calendar and kind of digging through archives, I knew I wanted to do that episode with Sully, talking about some of the old stories because of the documentary a few weeks ago. I've always known the date of the Shinedown performance, but it hit me like, oh my God, 2024, because 2023 was the 20th anniversary of the release of their debut album. So when their debut album, Leave a Whisper, hit 20 years, I was like, oh my God, that means Simple Man is going to be 20 years old soon. Oh, Wednesday. Are you showing everybody your winter sweater? You want to show everybody your moose sweater? Did you just wake up from a nap? Everybody's been wondering where you are. I have all of your cocktails lined up over here. Did you have a nice nap with Charlie and the baby? Did you? Are you nice and warm in your sweater? Because Mommy likes to keep it cold in the house. So she puts a sweater on for you so you're very nice and warm. Yes, Wednesday, I have cookies for you. Yes, I have them for you. Yes. So for anybody asking where she was, there she is. Shinedown's music was the music I started using in my weight loss journey. They mean everything to me. Thomas says, there she is. Carol says, hi, Wednesday. I knew she would come, says Jonathan. Trina says, hi, Wednesday. Christine says, crazy that it's been 20 years. Kevin says, Wednesday. Yes, of course she's getting cookies. You got to move over a little bit though, honey. Get in the camera. If you're going to be in on the, sit there you go. Do you want to get down? Down. Good girl. Can I have your paw? Can I have the other paw? Thank you. There you go. Good girl. Everybody missed you. They wanted to know where you were. You got your little sweater on. Nice and warm, huh? Mike Shue hates it when you dress up in clothes. He says you look ridiculous, but I think you look beautiful. Don't touch the thermostat, says Michael. Exactly. Tim says, I remember that show was totally blown away by the vocals in the AAF studio. Then bang, it was everywhere. The best recording is yours. I can definitely hear the difference. Steven says she knows the mail call is about to be opened, or the mailbag. Yes, exactly. I wish I could thank Brent personally for being there through being my guiding light through everything. He knows. And by the way, Brent reads his social media stuff. So if you comment on his Instagram, his Twitter, paw. Hey, paw. High five. Nope, back up. High five. Sit. There you go. Send him a message. He reads them. Let's see. Thanks to you, Danielle and I are getting a pug. Screw the landlord's rules, says Larry. I love it. She seems calmer than when you first started doing this. So I will tell you that when I put a sweater on her, it's almost like one of those thunder blankets. Like she's a lot calmer when she's got like a jacket on or a sweater, and She doesn't hate wearing them at all. I think she really likes being warmer. Trina says she looks fabulous. But yeah, she is a little bit calmer. But she was super hyper earlier today because she was outside running around in the snow and came inside and, right? Okay. Over here. Down. That's your last one, Wednesday. I don't have any more. The cookie pocket is empty. All right. So I want to talk to you guys more about the podcast. So when I realized Simple Man's 20th anniversary was coming up, I talked to Brent about it over the summer. And when I saw Shinedown last, not recently at Foxwoods, but when I saw Shinedown last in the fall, I made mention of it to Brent and said, hey, the Simple Man anniversary is coming up. Would you be interested in coming on the show to talk about it? And he was like, absolutely. So I set the interview up. We did it right after the holidays, right after the new year, because right before the new year, I took the family down to see them at Foxwoods. And so I saw Brent and we were talking about it. And he was like, I'm going to talk to you next week about the Simple Man thing. And I said, yes. And he asked me, do you have the original audio? Not the performance, but all the interview audio. And I was like, Brent, I save everything. And he was like, I know you do. So he has been trying to get the song cleared to put on the podcast. I've talked to you guys about it before. Putting full songs on a podcast, the music licensing arm is not there. The ability for me to pay a fee to have the song on my show does not exist yet. That mechanism is being negotiated because podcasting is growing so fast, but the mechanism is not there yet. And so Brent told me that he was going to work on trying to get it cleared, not only from his camp, but also from the Skynyrd camp, because obviously it's a Lynyrd Skynyrd song. And so it's copywritten. As of right now, I do not have the rights to be able to put the song in the podcast. However, when I started digging through my archives, so Shinedown came on my show for the first time in early 2003 when Leave a Whisper first got released and Fly from the Inside got released as a single. They came on my show in the fall of 2003 because they played Loco Bazooka that year as one of the openers. They came back on my show in January, on January 20th of 2004, because they were touring with Three Doors Down and Tantric. And that is the day that they played Simple Man. So I found the audio of the original interview of them coming into the studio, me talking them into doing the performance, of them screwing up, covering Stone Temple Pilots, All in the Suit That You Wear, which they played about 10 seconds of it. And Brent was like, stop, this sucks, we're terrible. Hilarious. And then they, amongst themselves, with a little coaxing from me, were like, okay, we're just going to do Simple Man. Why they chose to do Simple Man, that explanation is in this week's episode. Brent got really emotional talking about his connection with the Van Zandt family and the early connections with Shinedown and Lynyrd Skynyrd. So not only is there the new interview with Brent that I just recorded last week, but interwoven into that is clips from the original interview. Not only on January 20th, but 6.5 weeks, 7 weeks later, they came back in March. And that's when they found out how many times people had listened to Simple Man on the website of the radio station. That number, which you will hear exactly what that number is on this week's episode, is what made the record rep run out of the studio, call the head of the label, and go from just re-recording the song, because they went into the recording studio and re-recorded Simple Man, which is the version you can listen to on Spotify and all of that. Why they didn't use my version is explained in this week's episode. Then they came back later that year when they realized they weren't just going to release Simple Man as a standalone 99-cent download on Napster and iTunes, but that they were actually going to re-release Leave a Whisper with the bonus tracks on it of the acoustic version of Simple Man, of an acoustic version of Burning Bright, and an acoustic version of 45. All of those got recorded because of Simple Man, because of the performance, because of how many times the song got streamed off of our website. And so I wanted to talk to Brent because I think in the last 20 years, there are a lot of Shinedown fans that are outside of Boston that don't know where the song came from, why they covered it. There's a lot of people that are now growing up listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast that did not listen to my old radio show to know the origins of it. And this week is the 20th anniversary. So when you listen to the new interview with me and Brent, you're going to hear clips. The bonus material at the end of the episode is the unedited radio broadcasts of January 20th, of when they came back in March, and then when they came back again that summer. I've got all the interviews. This is going to be a long episode. So you're going to first hear Brent and I, and then when I say goodbye to Brent, I am going to navigate you through the 3 separate radio shows and their 3 consecutive band appearances in studio, talking about what happened and the shockwaves and how many more records they were selling because of Simple Man and how it all happened. It's all in this week's episode. You guys are going to love this episode. I am going to make a prediction that this is going to be the biggest episode of the podcast ever, because I think there's a lot of people that don't know the origins of the song. And once it gets released and gets picked up by a lot of the rock magazines and hard rock magazines and starts getting picked up on social media, and this hits YouTube, not the video, but just the audio, I have a feeling that this is going to be a really, really big episode. And Mark wants to know, Carrie, is there a way to put that version on the Spotify playlist? For me, not right now. So as of right now, I am the only one that's got the version of it. I'm sure it's alive somewhere on a computer hard drive in the old AAF studio, but there's no way for me to put it into Spotify because I do not hold the copyright for it. What this is going to do in the future, I don't know yet. But as of right now, I cannot release the actual performance of the song, which I know is going to be like a blue balls moment kind of thing, because you're going to hear me talking to them right before, and then literally right after, when I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing. And I'm not going to be able to put the song in there, which sucks. But if we end up getting permission in a week or two, I have the ability to put the song into the episode and re-upload it, which would then re-release the episode with the new audio in it. Ash says, I have been waiting since you mentioned it. I cannot wait to hear it. I remember all of that, says Thomas. I always miss them when they come to town. I desperately need to change that ASAP. Brent wouldn't tell me much in this week's episode about the plans that Shinedown has for this year, but he hinted 2024, 2025, 2026 are going to be very busy for Shinedown. And that's all he would tell me because he knows I keep a terrible secret. Let's see. It could put you in 150 countries, finally, says Christine. It totally could. Maybe there is a Shinedown loving country in South America or in Africa, and we're finally going to check off our 150th country for the Mistress Carrie podcast. Keith says, I went through a few old hard drives, found the downloaded file from AAF. Keith, if you load that up anywhere, it is going to get you flagged and it's going to get pulled down because you don't hold the copyright and you don't hold the rights to it. So you can't even post it anywhere. It'll get your YouTube flagged and pulled down. You just can't put it anywhere. Rachel says, hey guys, sorry I'm late. No problem. Be really, really careful about that file sharing stuff, guys. It's not even a joke because now, and I talk about it a lot in the sit rep, now that some of these legacy artists are selling their music catalogs to companies like Primary Wave for hundreds of millions of dollars, those companies have technology and people that scour the internet looking for people that are putting up that copywritten material that they now own the rights to. So it's not even a matter of the Van Zant family flagging it, because Gary Rossington's family, I believe, just sold his part of Lynyrd Skynyrd to one of these big music publishing houses now. So it's not even that it's going to piss off Brent Smith or the Van Zant family. You're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar corporation that is 100% going to come after you, for sure. Larry says, Shinedown probably saved my life. You are not the only one. Let's see. I get asked how I came to know of you. It got started with Godsmack, followed them, followed you, and everyone else, says Betty. See, so this stuff happens. So this week's episode, I'm going to tell you, there is a part of this week's episode you're going to want to have tissues ready, because Brent and I got really emotional having this discussion. Brent told me some stuff about his relationship to Judy Van Zant, specifically Ronnie Van Zant's widow, that I did not know, that was affected by the cover of Simple Man. And he never told me that. And until this episode, I did not know that. And it was extremely emotional for he and I to have this conversation. So you guys are going to love this episode. I am so excited for you to hear it. I am going to warn you, though, that the radio audio is 20 years old. We got away with a lot of stuff back then. It is definitely not as PC as the world is today. And we talked about a lot of things live on the radio that I would get fired for if we did it today, which is how I'm able to release this as a podcast. So I'm just putting it out there because I'm sure there's going to be somebody that loves Brent and loves the band and is going to hear this old audio of me when I was young, of them when they were young, and be like, I can't believe they said that. I can't believe she asked them that question. Look, this is shortly after I got promoted from doing nights when it was no holds barred to being on the air in the middle of the day. I was still young in my career, and these guys were a new band that was partying every day. This is when they were all still drinking. Like, it's a whole other world. I am releasing this audio knowing that it does not age well in some respects, but in other ways, it's so hilarious to hear how young and naive and just what a moment in time it really captured. Now, looking back in hindsight of everything that happened because of Simple Man, for them and for me. Yeah, super excited for you guys. Bish, so the interview with Brent is an hour. I think you're probably looking at least another hour of raw audio from their 3 appearances on the show. So it's definitely, I think it comes in at about 2 hours and 10 minutes or so. But obviously something that you can listen to in chunks, for sure. But it's a long episode for sure. Just, there's no way for me to shorten it. I want to be able, because if I take clips of the interviews, there's stuff in the interviews that we don't reference in the new interview that are really, really funny. One in particular that's really funny is I asked all the guys what songs they were listening to when they lost their virginity, which is a question I used to ask bands all the time. And later on in the interview, while the band was talking and while we went into commercials, I found the song that Brent was listening to when he lost his virginity, and I started playing it, and the guys in the band fell out of their chairs laughing. That was something that Brent and I didn't talk about last week. It's something that needs to be released because it's so funny, and there was just no way for me to trim down that old audio. So there's little clips that have to do with Simple Man through the Brent episode, and then the big audio dump is at the end. But it comes out at midnight tonight. I think you guys are going to love it. So, yeah, it's going to be good. All right, so subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. You get the full-length episodes every Wednesday. You get the Sit Rep Monday through Friday, rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. It's about 5 minutes long. And also a mini version of the Sit Rep airs every day on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine as well. But it's a really good way to stay up with movies, music news, streaming stuff, tour dates, all of that stuff. Here's all the places and then some that you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast. Full episodes are available on YouTube as audio only. And you can also just listen to every episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast at mistresscarrie.com. Just find the episode that you want to hear and hit play. And as we were alluding to earlier, 149 countries. There's like 2 little countries in South America that aren't listening yet, and some in Asia and Africa that have not joined the party yet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the Brent Smith episode this week for Simple Man is going to take us over the top. If you are celebrating your birthday today, first of all, happy birthday, January 16th. Bruce Kulick celebrating his birth, or was born on this date, not celebrating, but born on this date. Sade, born on this date. Jamie Reed, who is a graphic artist who did album covers, including the Sex Pistols, like iconic album covers, and also Ronnie Millsap, all born on this date. Some headlines to rip through before we get to mail call. Serj Tankian's memoir is coming out May 14th. He is also Airbnb-ing his house in LA. It's like $6,000 a month to stay in his house. And he's not even advertising it as Serj's house. He just owns the house and he's like Airbnb-ing it out, which is kind of funny. Bush made a massive touring announcement today. The Loaded Greatest Hits Tour. It is going to feature Jerry Cantrell and Candlebox, and it's going to be at the Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston coming up on August 24th. Those tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Details are on the concert and event page at mistresscarrie.com. No rock shows headed to the Garden as of right now, but there's new stuff getting added all the time. Set It Off, Crown the Empire, and Starset, they are both headed to Big Night Live. Those shows are added on the events calendar. Hardy just announced his tour. That is going to be at the Xfinity Center coming up on June 21st. This tour also goes on sale this Friday. Plus, Alanis Morissette, Limp Bizkit, Styx, and Foreigner, ZZ Top, and Lynyrd Skynyrd. 30 Seconds to Mars. Creed with Three Doors Down and Finger 11, the Summer of 99 tour. These are all coming to the Xfinity Center this summer and are all on sale already, minus Hardy. That goes on sale this Friday. The record company is going to be at the Sinclair on the 31st of January. These guys are fantastic. Chris Voss was on the podcast already, another band. If you like blues-based rock and roll, you got to go see this band. Adam Ant's going to be at the Wilbur on April Fool's Day. Steve Vai and Joe Satriani are going to be at the Orpheum coming up in April. And then, of course, Satriani is going to be on Sammy Hagar's tour at the Xfinity Center, the tour with Jason Bonham and Michael Anthony, Loverboy opening that one up, the Best of All Worlds tour. Extreme and Living Color are going to be at Foxwoods next week. Bret Michaels' show at Mohegan rescheduled from December to February 9th. Disturbed is going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena with Falling in Reverse and Plush. And if you guys haven't seen the new Disturbed video for Don't Tell Me with Ann Wilson, It came out last Friday. John 5 is going to be at the Tupelo Music Hall on February 16th. The Rolling Stones at Gillette on May 30th. The Sasanta Tour with Primus, Pussifer, and A Perfect Circle at the Bach Center Wang Theater, April 2nd and 3rd. Congratulations to Maynard James Keenan. By the way, this tour is to celebrate his 60th birthday, and he just got his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is huge. So congratulations to Maynard. The Foos sold out Fenway July 21st, Blink-182 July 23rd, Green Day, the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas at Fenway coming up on August 7th. Lot of shows. The Palladium has got the Machine Killer Tour with Static X, Sevendust, and Dope coming up at the end of February on the 26th. Queensryche and Armored Saint on April 27th. And NoFX's finale tour, 2 shows, August 31st, September 1st, Campanelli Stadium in Brockton. All of those shows are on sale right now. The MGM Music Hall is going to be hosting back-to-back-to-back Dropkick Murphy shows leading up to St. Patrick's Day. Porno for Pyros on their farewell tour. Guster, Judas Priest, Bad Religion, and Social D. Those shows are all on sale. The House of Blues has got Beartooth coming up next week with Sleep Theory, who I saw in Vegas, lead singer, Army veteran. Definitely check those guys out. Invent Animate and The Plot in You on the 21st. Chino Moreno's band Crosses on September 19th. The Alkaline Trio May 10th. The Dropkicks kicking off their week of shows before St. Patrick's Day at the House of Blues March 14th. Blackberry Smoke on March 21st. Architects on May 6th. And Black Veil Brides on May 8th. And again, those shows are all on sale. Paradise Rock Club has got Machine Head February 8th, Code Orange February 25th, Modest Yahoo on March 16th, and Girls School on March 29th. Green Day Saviors finally coming out this Friday. It's the first big rock release day of 2024. Saviors coming out this Friday. The Rolling Stones Digipack of the Hackney Diamonds re-release. So you're getting the studio album and you are getting the 7 tracks that they did live, including the performance with Lady Gaga that they did in New York in October. That's getting released as a live concert album. And Plush releasing their new EP, Find the Beautiful. And also this weekend, the Freddie Mercury IMAX movie live in Montreal. That is getting released in theaters this week. It's a concert that got filmed in 1981 in Montreal. They have digitally redone the movie so that you can watch it in IMAX. Brian May called it capturing Freddie Mercury and Queen in the height of their touring excellence. So if you want to go and see Queen this weekend, you can do it in IMAX. Pretty huge. Okay. Got some stuff to open in the mail. Mail call. Oh. Really, Wednesday? You came back because we're opening mail now, huh? For anybody that's new to the War Room, we open up mail every week to see what came in, and sometimes Wednesday gets stuff in the mail. And so if she takes off, like she did a little while ago, she always comes back for mail call, just in case. So this one says, enjoy your gift. It didn't say who sent it, but I believe I have an idea of who sent it because there's a theme. So this is a fake box of pills. I'm trying to fold it and not ruin the box, but there's some hilarious stuff in here. So it's a novelty box that you could obviously just put mints or whatever in. And it comes with a prescription bag, so it looks legit. And it's a pill box. And you can write who you want to give it to. Put it in the little prescription bag. Funny. So that came in. Then this came in. with no card. So I don't know who this came from, but it's a pop socket that says, ingest a satchel of Richards. Eat a bag of dicks for my phone. Hilarious. There's the QR code, by the way, if you guys want to order one for yourselves. So then there's this package with the card that says, enjoy your gift from Erik Larson. And in here it was the... it says, enjoy your gift. I've also sent you a few other things, like a pillow and a few gag pills. So that was from Erik Larson. So Wednesday. Why are you... Wednesday's over here. Do you guys see her? Because she wants to know if there's something in the bag for her. So in here... Erik, I'm going to start taking this personally. A book of inspirational quotes for the cunt in your life, reminding them that you are indeed a cunt. You are welcome. Allow me to read some of the quotes. Looks like it's fuck this shit o'clock. Bye, cunt. In case you didn't hear the look I just gave you, shut up. When I listen to you, I wonder who ties your shoelaces up for you. I don't have a short temper. I have a quick reaction to your bullshit. Remember when I smacked you in the head with a can of soda? You were lucky it was a soft drink, you cunt. Remember when you ate that clock? Was so time consuming. I heard you got your left side cut off. Now you're all right. Light travels faster than sound. This is why you appear bright until we hear you speak. Erik, you are hilarious. And the other thing that came in the box is an apron for all of my holiday cooking that says, cook it yourself, cunt. Thomas says, bag of dicks. Satchel of Richards, great band name. Couldn't agree more. That is all you, says Barbara. I am sorry I had to, says Erik. If you don't think I won't wear that next Thanksgiving or to a barbecue this summer, oh, you are mistaken. Erik, thank you for my gifts. I appreciate it. They are hilarious. I got one more thing in the mail that I could not wait to show you guys, and I waited to open it because of how it was packaged. So a few weeks ago, I interviewed author and former roadie Philip Kriz, and he messaged me and was like, I want to make sure, because he sent me a digital version of the book so that I could read it, but he's like, I want to send you an actual version of the book. Hi, Wednesday. Thank you for sitting so nicely in your spot. And so I got the copy of the book today. I don't know if this is how all of the books arrive, but when I opened up the package, this is what it said. So the book comes with a disclaimer. It comes with a backstage pass. So you can pause it later and read what it says. And the book comes wrapped like a brick of cocaine. Because, of course, the book is called The Roadie Cartel, and it's about a group of roadies and a family that gets into the drug trade. And so this is how the book comes wrapped, which is freaking hilarious. Phil, A for effort in the packaging. He told me that he wanted to sign a copy of the book for me. I don't want to rip the packaging open because I haven't had time to take pictures of it yet. And I want to take pictures of it for my Instagram and stuff to help him with the book. And so the book is in here, but I want to leave it wrapped up like cocaine for now so that I can take pictures of the packaging so that I can tag him on Instagram. So I just want to thank Phil for sending me a copy of the book. And A for effort when it comes to the packaging, dude. Way to go. Let's see. Carrie, Keith's unbirthday. Oh my God, Keith. Happy unbirthday, Keith. I'm so sorry. I got sidetracked by Wednesday and the mail and... Right, Wednesday? You're sitting so very nicely. Yes, you are. Yeah. You're sitting so nice. Right on your camera, right where you're supposed to, and you're nice and warm, right? Oh, you're so toasty. Spoiled brat. I'm sorry, Keith. Happy unbirthday. Donna says, that is so cool. I'm on chapter 6. I got it digitally. I think that it had the brick of cocaine warning on the first page. Hilarious. I got like the advanced copy of the book, so it didn't have like all of the extras in it. He sent me like basically a long Word document for me to be able to read it. So there you go. So thanks to Phil for sending me the copy of the actual book. Okay, I want to let you guys know if you're a Backstage Pass holder, we talked about this on our monthly live stream on Sunday. I have been talking to the guys from Vader Drumsticks. Chad Brandolini was on the podcast. And so I hit him up and I was like, hey, now that I have Mistress Carrie guitar picks, what do you think about putting together Mistress Carrie drumsticks? And he was like 100%. So the guys at Vader right now are working with the artwork and the logos, and they are working on Mistress Carrie drumsticks. When I get the prototypes, I'm going to run them by the Backstage Pass holders first, and when they get finalized, you will be able to purchase Mistress Carrie drumsticks in the online shop at mistresscarrie.com, which I am super excited about. And there are also some new merch items that are in development right now that I am hoping to premiere in time at the big gig, and you'll be able to purchase them in person at the big gig on April 27th at the DCU Center in Worcester. Speaking of the Backstage Passes, if you have one, then you know. If you don't have one, you can get one on Patreon. If you get a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, every month we do an exclusive live stream where you kind of get a little bit more of the curtain pulled back. You find out who's going to be on the podcast before anybody else. You can submit podcast interview questions. I'm going to be traveling again next month to Vegas. When I travel, you get travel blog updates, early access to event tickets and information, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. And as the concerts start coming back, as the weather gets warmer, you are going to have access to free tickets for stuff. So you also get merch discount codes. So when I launch new pieces of merch in the online store, Backstage Pass holders get discount codes to be able to buy it first and to be able to buy it cheaper. So if you do not have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you can always get one. Click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com or go on patreon.com and search Mistress Carrie. And just a reminder of all the places you can find me online: Twitter, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, Patreon, of course, and you can download the Pike and the Bone apps. And also the Mistress Carrie podcast has its own Instagram and Threads account, all of it linked at mistresscarrie.com. Right, Wednesday? Are you excited about this week's podcast episode with Brent Smith from Shinedown? I know you are. You've been sitting in the studio while I've been editing it and producing it, haven't you? Right? That's my face that you're stepping on Wednesday. Okay. She's like, I didn't get anything in the mail. I'm fucking out of here. Right? You want to play with some toys? Do you want to play with some toys Wednesday? Can you say thank you to everybody for all of the stuff that they send you and all the stuff they sent me and all your drinks? I set this up because I thought this was like her little sin thing. She's got all of her drinks and a little pizza in case she gets hungry, drunk pizza food, and then, a little devil because that's what she is. See, you have all your drinks right there. You got a little fruity drink. You got a Tito's drink. You got some spiked cider. Yeah, even some seltzers. She's like, I'm not amused. Shh. When do the tickets for the big gig go on sale? They are already on sale, Kathy. Already on sale. Click the link. Just look up the big gig, April 27th on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. There's a link to buy tickets right there. I will see you guys on Friday at Waterfront Mary's Fish and Chips Night. So I will see you guys there. We will have tickets to give away. I'll have some Mistress Carrie gear there as well to give away. So I'll see you guys. That's 5:30 to 7:30 Friday night, Waterfront Mary's in Webster. And then obviously White Paw, exactly. Did you see Jelly Roll performed for the inmates in the jail? He was on CBS Sunday Morning News, and they brought him to the jail where he actually was, like brought him to the cell where he was incarcerated. So if you guys didn't see that, you can see it on the CBS News website. And if you guys did not see Jelly Roll testify in front of Congress last week about fentanyl, way to go, Jelly Roll. Way to speak truth to power. Absolute badass. So well-spoken. I think it would have been easy for some of those members of Congress to write him off, looking the way he does with his tattoos. And he just went in there and just blew the doors off the place. So way to go, Jelly Roll. You are the man. So happy for you. And we'll see how he's going to do the Grammys. He's got nominated 2 Grammy nominations, including Best New Artist coming up on February 4th. So, all right, guys, say bye Wednesday. Can you say bye? Yes. She's so warm and snuggly. All right, guys, episode 189 of the Mistress Carrie podcast going live at midnight tonight, featuring Brent Smith from Shinedown, the Simple Man episode. Good night, guys. Stay warm. Put those emergency kits in your cars.